it is time to get on with some projects. First one up is this Roland D-70, which actually isn't in a particularly bad state, but it's something I just want to get done. Now, as I said, there's not an awful lot wrong with this synthesizer. So I've identified 3 things that I want to do with it. The first one is to change the battery. And you're going to say, well, why do you need to change the battery, John? And I've written down in my notes that I actually bought this synthesizer before I split up with my ex. And I've been separated from my ex-partner for 11 years. So before I separated, I would have put a new battery into this synthesizer. So that was one of the things I would have done. Now, this synthesizer has probably spent the better part of the last 5 years, definitely, in storage. So the battery would have been draining down. So I thought, well, it's probably prudent. I've looked at my tracker. I haven't got a date on my tracker when the battery was last updated on this particular synth. So you know what? I'm going to open it up. And if I'm going to open it up, I might as well pop a new battery in. So the first project to do with this synthesizer, although it might not be the first in sequence, is to put a new battery into this synthesizer, and should be jobs good on that one. And then of course I've got to then go through the restore process to put all the factory sounds back on it. Now I can either do that through a cartridge, I have a card for that, or I can, if I'm feeling generous when I do it, I might go around the SysX route using Bohm.
Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon.
The next project that needs to be done on here is somewhere between moving the keyboard from where I used to live to the flat, to storage, to here, to storage, to here, etc. This key has, and it won't come across on camera. I was going to put a camera up above me, but I thought not at the moment. I haven't got that kind of rig set up in here yet. I will have a rig set up in here that I can mount a camera above me. But for the moment, this key is not returning properly. Now that I think is something to do with a spring issue. I've got the springs. So what I intend to do is strip that part of the keyboard down, get that key out, and work out how to put a new spring into that key so that it actually returns properly like these ones do. As you can see, it's kind of a bit limp. It might need a new key. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really got in there to actually understand what has broken. So that's the next, it's just to fix, and it's annoying. It's one of those things, you know, occasionally you play up in this area of the keyboard and it's annoying. It doesn't feel right. Most of the time you're playing in this area of the keyboard, so it's fine. But that's been annoying me. It's an annoyance. I'm going to fix it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I rant on all the time about putting plugs into cases and having plugs sit on keyboards. And this keyboard has plug rash. And you can't see it because it's hidden down here. But if I move these across from here to here, like so, on this particular key, a plug has gouged out of the plastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically get some wet and dry sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand that down and then polish it up again. And effectively, I don't think I need to replace the key. The key's not that badly damaged, but I think just a little bit of wet and dry. Hold the key down, hold the key next to it down, or wedge the key next to it down, wet and dry on the key itself, get the gouge marks out, and then some polish to polish it all back up, and that should visually fix that problem. And I say, it's one of my pet hates about putting plugs in here. It's the reason why where is the power cord on this thing? It's down here, isn't it? There it is. It's the reason why I changed the power cord to be a IC13, IC14 connection, because I don't therefore have to have the plug in place. So there you go. And the final project or piece of work I've identified on this keyboard is to bring it up to the latest version of the firmware. So this is actually quite an early version of the Roland D-70, so it would have been issued in the early period of this keyboard being released. And it's still got the version of the firmware which is 1.10. The final version of, in fact actually I think it was post manufacture, but I believe the final version that was issued was 1.18, and the version that was issued post manufacturer was 1.19. And it's not a simple flash, plug in USB or plug in a SD card and flash it. You can't do that with this. The way you update it on the Roland D-70 is you plug some new chips in. So there are the new chips. I've had them probably for about 2 years, if I'm brutally honest. So I'm going to, I don't know whether they're socketed or whether I've got to put sockets in. So what I'm going to do is obviously release the board, locate the original ROM chips. If they're socketed, I will just use some socket extractors and extract the chips and put these new ones in. If they're not socketed, I will extract the chips, and then what I will do is then put sockets in and put these in on sockets, because that's far better going forward. So there are going into the keyboard to bring this up to firmware version 1.19, which was the last firmware released for this particular keyboard. And then what I'd like to go through, and I have never done this, but Roland issued a number of cards for this particular keyboard. These were the stock cards. That was one of them. That was another one. And I believe, if I remember correctly, these two had to be done together. And then I think I've got some more, because that's on its own, and it shouldn't be on its own. It should be part of a set. So I believe there's some in one of the other boxes down in storage, and I'll go and find it. But I believe there's the other one to that. They were the Roland cards that were issued, and then I acquired from somewhere a voice crystal D70 card. I don't know how many cards voice crystal worked, and to be honest I have no idea whether that card will work or not. It's never been tested. And the final thing is I also acquired some Sound Source Unlimited cards, which are in there, and they've never been tested either. So that might be a sort of a bit of a leap of faith to find out what's on those, and just have a sort of noodle around. And there you go. That is the D70 project that I'm going to get on with in the next couple of weeks. And on that note, I'm going to say for this one, live long and prosper. Bye bye.